Hello, happy Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to be making some flautas today. You might also know them as taquitos. You might also know them mostly coming from the frozen section of your grocery store. But we're going to make them a lot better than that. Now, flautas are one of those things that they take a little bit of time and a little bit of work, and you have to play with oil, but if you think that the frozen ones in the box are good, making them from scratch is a whole lot better. I'm going to go through this, and honestly, I just used stuff that was in my house. I didn't really plan this recipe that thoroughly. So there are more traditional ways to cook some of these things. There are ways that some people might think are better, and you can do that. You can do whatever works for you. There's no rules to cooking, so just do what you like. Anyway, let's go make some flautas, shall we? Alright friends, to start this off, we're going to cut up some onions. I happen to have half an onion in my fridge and a whole one outside of my fridge, so that's what we're doing. And it really doesn't matter how thick or thin we're going to cut these because I'm going to end up blending it. So throw those in a pot with some oil and salt, and then just start cooking it on a low to medium heat. And after a few minutes, we're going to crush up and chop up some garlic cloves. And then they too are going to join the party in the pot. I thought it looked kind of cool in slow motion. Give it a good stir, cook it for a couple of minutes, and then tomato paste is normally what I would add here, but I didn't realize I didn't have any, so some pureed tomatoes will work for me. Cool, while that's cooking down, we're also going to add some cumin and some paprika. How we feeling about this red hoodie and red pot combo? Alright, so all of that stuff is cooked, and now we're going to go with some Chipotle in Adobo sauce. I think it's a little comical how long it took me to get these out of this tiny little can, but hopefully you'll have better luck than me. I'm just cooking off the cusp here and found some more dried peppers in my pantry, and you would normally want to rehydrate those first, but I'm going to rehydrate them in here with some chicken stock, which I would have added anyway. But now that these are nice and rehydrated, we can blend everything. Make sure you tilt the pot so there's enough liquid to submerge the blender, otherwise you'll make a mess. Alright, the sauce is done. Let's talk about chicken. I'm going to use some boneless, skinless chicken thighs and just drop them right in the pot, move them around a little bit, and make sure they get fully coated in the sauce. Then we're just going to throw a lid on it, and into a 350-degree oven it goes. Now this could be a great time to take a break, or you can make some tortillas from scratch. If you've never made corn tortillas from scratch, they're super easy. You're just going to put some masa and some water in a bowl and start mixing it around until you get a nice little dough boy. Some brands want you to add salt, some brands don't, but just follow the instructions on the package and you'll have really nice tortillas. Technically you don't need one, but if you are going to be making corn tortillas from scratch, you will probably want to get a corn tortilla press. This is a really beautiful one that was gifted to me, but they make them for like $15 or $20 at the grocery store on Amazon. I'll link one down below. And then you're going to need to cut off all but one side of a plastic bag, and that will make the tortillas not get stuck to your press. Then we're just going to break off a little ball, roll it up, flatten it out a little bit, and then put it between our two pieces of plastic. Close up the tortilla press and give it a nice push. Applying the right amount of pressure might take you a little bit of practice. You don't want them too thick or too thin, but just like Goldilocks, just right. Now be gentle peeling them off the plastic, and then we're going to throw it into a pretty hot pan, and it's going to start with about 30 seconds on the first side. We're going to give it a little flip. You might want to use some tongs or something. Maybe another 45 seconds on the second time. Give it one more flip for another 30 seconds on the last side. And when it's finished, throw it in a towel so that it can steam and stay soft. I mean, honestly, we're going to be frying these, so if you undercook these a bit, it's going to be totally fine. And now that all our tortillas are done, we're going to play a magic trick. Pick a tortilla, any tortilla. Alright, clearly I'm not a magician, but I do like making tortillas from scratch, specifically corn tortillas, because I think the ones from the store are just like really hard and kind of fall apart easily, and these work a lot better. Alright, an hour's passed, and we're going to have a big epic reveal of our chicken. Just kidding, we're going to throw it back in the oven for 30 minutes uncovered. Okay, now we're ready to look at that chicken. It's going to be really nice and tender, and you can't really see that from this shot. This is one of the reasons I most like blending the sauce first, is that it's really easy to fish out all the chicken, and then it should just shred apart. You can use a fork, or I'm just using these tongs. Ooh, look at that, just fall right apart. part. And then once it's shredded up, I'm going to start adding some of that braising liquid back in until it's nice and saucy, juicy, moist, all the things. And then we're going to put a bunch of cheese in and mix all that together. Time to pick out the seeds and stems and roll it up. That was a Colt 45 reference. But if you've never rolled these up before, you're just going to roll these up as tight as you can. We're going to leave it with that seam side down just to watch me do it again. I'm just going to roll it up as tight as I can, leave it with the seam side down, and then I'm going to show two different ways to do this, one with toothpicks and one without. But if you are going to use toothpicks, make sure that they go all the way through to hold it together. Considering I'm eating all of these by myself, I didn't make a ton of these, I just made this many. It looks like 9 to me. And then we'll do half with toothpicks and half without. I don't normally use the toothpicks, but they're definitely safer if you're not used to playing with super hot oil. And then we're just going to carefully drop them in the oil. You don't want to be using too much oil, just enough to cover them about halfway, and we want our oil at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And the first side we'll do about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we're going to flip them all over. Whether you're doing this part with the toothpicks or without, make sure you're using tongs. That oil's really hot and it will burn you and hurt you badly. Another 2 to 3 minutes have passed and it's time to take these out of the oil. We're going to shake off some extra oil and then either put them on a paper towel or a wire rack to cool and get rid of some of that excess oil. If you're not using toothpicks, you want to make sure that you place it seam side down and place away from you. If you don't place it seam side down, there's nothing else holding together and it will unroll and not stay tight. And now we're just going to enjoy this little montage of watching these babies fry. Same deal, flip them over halfway. This time we're going to give them some magic fingers, and then when they're done frying, put them back on the plate. Let them cool off for a few minutes. If you use the toothpicks, this is a good time to take them out and start plating them up. I guess I couldn't figure out how to plate them up. We started with the straight row, then I don't know what we're going to do with these. Oh, I guess let's build a little structure. Yes, a little structure it is. Eat these with whatever you want, but I'm going to be using some hot sauce and sour cream, and voila, there's our flautas. I'm going to cut one open so that I can show you this somewhat unimpressive cross section, and then here's some beautiful footage of me dipping in my sauces, but let's have a little taste. We made it. Little flauta boy. It's crispy. I enjoy eating in front of the camera. I think it's really funny. But I kind of hate listening to people talk about how amazing their food is. But these are really good. They're crunchy. They're got a little heat. They're moist in the middle, creamy from the cheese. Everything you want in a flauta. This is it right here. Got some dipping sauces. What else do you need? You should make these. Make these for the Super Bowl. Make these for breakfast. Make these whenever you want. But the moral of the story is that you should make some flautas. I'll see you next time. Moral of the story, you should have some flautas in your life. Thanks for joining me. That's been the 7 o'clock news with Aaron. Go yourself, San Diego. No. Moral of the story, you should have some flautas in your life. Moral of the story, food does not simply just walk into Mordor, but you should go eat some flautas. The moral of the story is that you should go make some flautas, you should go eat some flautas. Whatever you're going to do, flautas need to be in your life. Thanks for joining me. That's the news today with Aaron. Go eat some food now.